Hello, 5th grade. Today we are going to start our city in one-point perspective. Now, one-point perspective means that everything in your picture is going to lead to one point. And in order to start this picture, we have to find where that point is going to be. And it's going to be in the very center of your paper. So this paper is 12 inches high by 18 inches wide. So what we need to do is divide 12 in half and divide 18 in half, and that will find our center of our paper. So first thing we're going to do is lay your ruler somewhere near the center of your paper, and I want you to make sure that your ruler is lined up right on the 0 mark at the top of your paper. Some rulers start right at the edge of the ruler. Some rulers, like this one, have a little bit of a gap between the end of the ruler and where the measurements actually start at 0. So make sure your ruler is lined up at that mark. And I want you to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the reason we counted to 6 was because 6 is half of 12, and that's how long our paper is. It's 12 inches long. So if we make a mark at the 6, that's halfway between the top and the bottom of the paper. So I made just a slight little tiny dash, not super dark, because we're going to end up erasing some of these measurements later. I just made it dark enough so that I could see it. Now I'm going to make sure that my ruler is again lined up on the edge of the paper where the 0 starts. And I also want to make sure that it's on that dash right there that I made for the 6-inch mark, and I'm going to count to 9 because 9 is half of 18, and 18 is how long this paper is. So if we go to 9, that's halfway across our paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to make a little mark right there. And so I have my ruler halfway down my paper. This is where my vanishing point is going to be, right where I did my second measurement. You can tell that that is the very middle of my paper, and that is my vanishing point. It's called a vanishing point because that is where everything in your picture is going to vanish, disappear. It's going to be so small you won't be able to see it once it hits that point. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our road. And our road is going to be right in the middle of our paper. So what we need to do is we need to measure. We're going to measure 6 inches at the bottom. So put your ruler at the very corner of your paper again and measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And make just a little dash so that you can remember where that's at. And then you can make another dash where the 12 is, because that is 6, 6, and 6. If the paper is 18 inches long, 18 divided by 3 is 6. That's why we have 3 different sections that are 6 inches long. I'm now going to connect the dot that I made at the bottom of my paper and my vanishing point, and I'm going to make a line. I always say draw light until you get it right. So draw lightly, so that way if you make a mistake you can always go back and erase it. It is very difficult to erase a very heavy line. It's easy to erase a light line. There is the start of my road. What I need to do now is draw the lines that go down the center. And the lines start off really, really tiny and close together in the background, and then they get longer, farther apart, and bigger as you get towards the front edge of your paper. See how they're tiny, then they're starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's starting to look like a road, but right now we need to make the buildings. So that's all we're going to do for today. Find the next QR code to make the buildings.